2, 1.
Welcome to the First Vocal Plane Podcast with Sean and Rooster.
Bienvenidos al episodio 46 del podcast del primer pleno focal, donde tanto cuero curamos, nos seremos maquinistas.
Hey, hermano.
Oh, wait, this isn't the Spanish show. Shit.
That's next week, Sean.
Oh, well, that's Wednesday nights for
Is
all
it?
you listening.
Oh,
yeah.
I gotta reschedule.
Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. Well, welcome to the First Focal Plane Podcast, episode 46, where as much as we want to be, we will not be machinists. So, Kurt, sorry I'm dashing your dreams. So,
yeah. Oh, well.
Anyway.
You could.
I'm used to you stepping on my nuts.
Tyler, don't encourage him.
All it takes is money.
That's right. Copious amounts of cash. That's right.
Yep.
Well, speaking of cash, we need to pay the bills. So, here we go. EM Precision Rifles in Leduc, Alberta. Leduc, sorry. They are Canada's premier precision builder of lightweight hunting rifles, starter packages, ELR rigs, and ELR rigs. Slow down. It's only my fifth cup of Bolt Action coffee today. Or tonight. EM Precision has the right stuff to get you into the field, onto the range, and into the winner's circle. They are the exclusive distributor for Curtis Custom Actions, who, Tyler, did you know, Curtis Custom Actions has been named the official action of the 2021 Precision Rifle Series?
Did you know I have some Curtis Customs in my safe behind this desk, and I like them quite a bit, and they are great to build bullpups off of that 60-degree bolt throw. So we didn't plan that at all, but I do.
We didn't. Played well,
this is
though.
Great. This is great. Yeah. So EM Precision Rifles, like I said, they're the sole exclusive distributor for Curtis Custom. If you're looking for any one of their products, the Scout, the Axiom, well, maybe not the Axiom. I don't think he's bringing them in anymore, but the Valor. What else? What else am I missing off the top of my head?
I don't know.
I run all Axioms. I like them a lot.
Yeah. Well, anyway, hit up Shane on Facebook, Instagram, and their website, emprifles.ca.
You betcha.
I would show them off, but I hear we can't fondle fine firearms.
We can't fondle tubes that propel things down toward the tip. So, but we can say that. So,
this is not OnlyFans, man.
Not yet.
Yeah. Depends how desperate we get for money.
Well, our OnlyFans just covers beard headshots. So
that's right. How's my beard tonight, by the way?
It looks very groomed.
Put a little bit of effort into it finally.
There you go.
All right, tonight's Top Shot is brought to you by Bolt Action Coffee. Get into the precision specialty coffee game with Bolt Action Coffee. Hand-loaded weekly to ensure quality of consistent flavor and freshness, Bolt Action Coffee is roasted and packaged Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Then all orders are shipped on Thursdays. It seems like a pretty reasonable progression to me.
You bet.
This process ensures supply order volumes match customer order volume and prevents aging on the shelf. Specially brewed with the precision community in mind. Choose between Scopes Up, Overwatch, and Suppressed, and the newly released Midnight Canoe Trip, which I just got some.
Me too.
I've yet to try it, though.
I know. Me too. I'm going to go through a bunch of Scopes Up first before I get that. But
I love Midnight Canoe.
Thanks, fellas. That shows that they're listening.
I want some.
Wow.
It's good stuff, man. Actually, yeah.
If you want to get some, Tyler, use code First Focal Plane at boltactioncoffee.com for 10% off your order.
All right, I'm sold.
There you go. Are you really? You're terrible salesman.
Coffee.
There you go.
Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and on their website at boltactioncoffee.com.
You bet. And if you don't want to shoot like shit, check out Callsign 66. They are a veterans-based organization founded to facilitate multi-generational passage of information, ballistic applications, R&D, and shooter development. Yeah. Wow, we're really fucking mailing it in tonight. Hey, Jesus Christ.
Let's go.
The omnidirectional passage of information is key to the community's success and growth, as our organizational philosophy is such that we all have something to offer, and that they do. And if you want to get that something, my eyes are all funky right now. I don't know what's going on.
Well, upcoming, there's a positional fundamentals seminar Saturday, May 15th at the Consort, Alberta range. Check that out.
And then there's a wind spotting fundamental seminar,
right?
June 26th and June 27th in Nose Hills. Friend of the show, Oscar. That's his club. So, yeah, check them out. And there's also one in Tabor with the guys from Gothic. I don't know when those dates are, but Gothic Line Armory is having that. So,
wait a second. Isn't Consort and Nose Hill the same range?
I don't know. I took this right off their website. So, it just said Consort, Alberta, and then Nose Hill Gun Club. That's all.
Nose Hill Gun Club is at Consort, I believe.
Well, I'll just go fuck myself real quick.
Well, I think you should. You keep talking about it. I haven't seen it yet, so I think you should.
Nobody's fixed it until now. So if you don't like it, start your own show and talk about your own shit.
All right. Okay, find Callsign 66 on Facebook, Instagram, and their website at callsign66.ca.
You bet. Thanks.
We also have, where did it go? Odell Engineering, the geniuses behind the Canuck line of firearms. Odell Engineering is your premium importer and distributor of some of Canada's top brands of firearms, including Bergera, Rock Island Armory, Mission First Tactical, Hyperfire, and of course the Made for Canada Canuck firearms. Rely on Odell Engineering's experience in the Canadian market to provide you the best quality in firearms and firearm accessories. Want an M4? Don't want to spend thousands on a semi? Check out the Canuck Operator.
Benelli M4, not an M4 carbine.
I heard that and I was like, there's got to be some.
Yeah. We can't have fun stuff here right now.
What is the most fun stuff you can have there without great hassle?
I'd handle it and show you, but I just picked it up. A Ruger PC carbine that's one of the few semis that haven't been banned.
Depends on what you're after.
Yeah, if it looks scary, it's probably banned.
So how do they give me like the ultra basics in Canadian regulation?
Oh God, how much time you got?
I think most everybody's allowed a flintlock. Just one though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
be scary.
There's three classifications. There's non-restricted, restricted, and prohibited. Non-restricted are long guns, so long guns and shotguns. And restricted is like pistols or anything they deem scary. Like an AR-15 is restricted. Short-barreled rifles, some short-barreled rifles. All short-barreled rifles.
What constitutes short barrel there?
There's a measurement. I can't remember off the top of my head. Kelly's on, and she would know. She can wing that off.
I think for a rifle, it's 26-inch minimum overall length. Okay. For semi-automatic, it's 18 inches minimum barrel length.
So I know,
18.5
like with our Bullpup chassis, you can't convert a gun to a Bullpup there. A Bullpup rifle is legal, but putting your rifle in a Bullpup chassis is not legal.
No.
There's something about that. Yeah,
it's converting a gun to a Bullpup. We have a lot of Canadian people ask about that.
Yeah,
and the end option is we'd sell you a complete Bullpup rifle, and that is fine.
That's the way it came from the factory, then, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
I know, it's stupid as shit.
Oh yeah, Jens just corrected me. The AR-15 is not restricted anymore. It previously was until May 1st last year, but it's actually prohib now. Same with the M14. The VZ58, VZ58 for you freedom lovers. What else? Like a whole pile of stuff. It's
So prohibited is like you can't get it no matter what.
That's right.
No, and right now with the AR-15 or all AR-15s, you can keep them. You can choose to keep them, but you can't do anything with them. They're safe queens. You can't take them to the range. You can't take them to, you can choose to deactivate them, but it's ridiculous. Anyway, let's talk about some cool shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, because this is starting to piss me off.
It's melting. My brain is about to come out of my ears.
Yeah, let's not do that. So, who the hell are you? random guy below us?
So I am Tyler. I am the owner of MK Machining. And actually, as you mentioned machinist earlier, you would expect that we do a lot of milling in-house. About 2 years ago now, I completely bought out the milling side of MK Machining, and we focus all on additive here. So we still design all our machined products. Machined is like a double-edged term. You could say like printing that we do is machining. A machine is doing it, but that's not what people generally consider. Anyways, so I saw the potential growth in additive. I think that's where most of your metallic products are going to go towards in the next few decades. And so I decided to invest very heavily in the additive front. And so that's what we do in-house. Just FYI, but we do offer a wide variety of billet products, and we work closely with the local shop for those. So I'm quite familiar with machining, but I'm even more familiar on the industrial additive front, would be the best way I could put it, I think.
Okay.
How else can I assist you in telling you who I am or what we do?
When did you get started?
As an idea, when I was an undergrad, that would probably be about 2013. I used to work for a company called GA Precision. I'm not sure how familiar you are there.
I've heard of them.
George Gardner?
Yeah. So I know George very well. They're kind of the premier long-range rifle builder here in the U.S. Anyways, so I was working there as an internship that turned into more, and that's when Desert Techs started coming out. And I know those are kind of a thing in Canada. And I wondered why nobody had done a Bullpup chassis for 700s, obviously, as that's the most popular bolt gun. So that was kind of the idea, was probably in 2013 or so. 2015 is when I started MK Machining as a legal entity. And probably a year after that, we had what we called our Mark I chassis. And then not long after that, the Mark II chassis, which we can't have it all together because that might look too scary, but you can imagine a butt end on here, or you can see the very inflammatory black, yellow, and gold gun back there matches my school's alma mater colors. It's people either love it or hate it because it's so wild, but it's an attention getter.
Desert Tan is your school's alma mater colors?
Say what?
Desert Tan?
No. See that yellow? That black and gold. Anyways.
Black and gold, Georgia Tech?
No, University of Missouri, but good guess.
Oh, wow, I'm way off. Anyway.
That's okay. Mizzou Tigers. Anyways.
Gay Tigers. What?
Our flagship product is a Bullpup chassis for Remington 700s or clones like Curtis Customs, which that literally goes perfect. When you got that bolt back here and you only got to lift it 2/3 as much. That
would definitely be a plus for sure for a Bullpup.
Yep, and a lot of people think man, it must be impossible to work the bolt back there or something. I wish I could show you. It is not like an ergonomic masterpiece, it's not what you're going to be clearing rooms with, but that's not the point of a Bullpup bolt gun, it's for precision shots with a compact rig, and it's not impossible by any means, particularly if you're on a tripod, man, nothing is better for smoking yotes at 500 yards than that. So anyways, that's kind of what spawned MK Machining, and it's crazy how it's blossomed into, we offer the highest tier of 3D printing, and that's a separate head of the business kind of. So there's two arms that are doing nicely, the Bullpup side and then additive manufacturing, which there is, as probably all the viewers know, there is a tremendous amount of
So when you say additive, you're talking accessories, right?
No, I'm talking subtractive manufacturing would be milling or turning. So you start with a chunk. Imagine this grip. You would start with your stock, which would be larger than that in all dimensions, and you cut everything else away except the parts. That is time-consuming, intensive from a labor front because you have to have somebody there tending the machine all the time. And it's incredibly wasteful. Not that I'm a Greenpeace warrior by any means, but waste is important. And so additive manufacturing is 3D printing. You're adding only the material you need for your part. And that is
cool.
The vast majority of manufacturing will be done that way in a few decades, for sure.
So I just want to break in for a second. Scotty's asking, can we get a close-up of that thing? And I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about, but other than this, no, we can't get a close-up of anything else because
you can check out our site. And I can be incredibly transparent on how this is operated and stuff. A lot of people, most people, their issue per se isn't like, oh, the ergonomics must be terrible. When like great strides were taken to make sure everything other than the bolt throw feels just like a normal gun that you would like, a precision chassis with ergonomics in mind. But so many people are like, man, the trigger must be terrible on that thing because, maybe they felt some bubbled up bullpup that somebody made. There is no reason you cannot make a crisp and stout linkage. And essentially you have an absolutely rigid set of dual operating rods that link back to a custom Timney trigger. You can see there's no room for a trigger shoe in there if you had a Timney unit. And so actually the trigger gets pulled from above rather than below, but it getting pulled right here, which actuates these op rods, which you can probably see back there. See how that moves back and forth? So
not at all, but yeah.
Yeah, if you're right here, see that?
Yeah.
It's light. I mean,
it's tough to see. That's all.
Yeah.
We get
but
it.
Imagine, you're pulling down here, which is pulling this op rod forward, and that simulates pulling a trigger shoe rearward.
Makes sense.
That's the gist of the mechanics. And then you have, nice bushings in there and tight tolerances. And, there's just no slop. It's not like you're playing with transferring 40 pounds through a small op rod. So I guess that's like my favorite thing, say at SHOT Show, if you guys are going to be there, come feel the trigger. It's just, it feels like a precision bolt gun.
Well, and you did a little expose with TFB TV on YouTube there and on their blog, so if you guys want to find out a lot more, check that out because that was a pretty in-depth dive. But
yeah, and if you looked at like 2019 SHOT Show, we were voted like coolest new product, which that was, insanely gratifying as a small company.
No kidding.
That's if you look up like the firearm blog, and all that stuff, there's numerous videos, or there's something called like the Bullpup forum, where we kind of take like a deep dive into the mechanics and, showing it off, and you can see like the pull weights you could achieve and stuff. But that is my favorite thing is just SHOT Show. Honestly, you're never going to get a better chance to get thousands of hands on your gun. You have those things set up on some nice tripods, and it's like, go to town, feel it out yourself. And the trigger doesn't have
kidding.
But it's not cheap to do it right.
Well, and Shane's got a question here on the Facebook. Shane from EM Precision Rifles, believe it or not.
Yep.
How well does the transfer bar maintain the trigger feel?
It feels just like a normal trigger. So if we get a little bit closer on here, you can see, oh man, it's all backwards. So, there's no slop right there. You have pointed set screws clamping onto, you can kind of see these little like dimples on there, not really focus, but that pointed set screw interfaces with those dimples on there, and it's on both sides. So that gives you both, this is your safety now with a 700. So this is actuating the safety back here. Now, so you can really see that movement because it's exaggerated so much, but the trigger's on the same fundamentals. So you have dual 1/8-inch steel precision turned op rods on each side, left and right. And then that is a firm interface with some arms that go on this custom Timney trigger. So there's no place for slop to happen. And then, there is these 3 bushings. These are made out of what's called oiled bronze. And so it's 30% 5W30 oil. Like you never oil it, it wears and it releases oil. So those things prevent any op rod bowing, which you're not going to get because when you pull the trigger, it's pulling on that op rod. It's not trying to compress it. So it just feels like a good trigger. And that's
interesting.
My very favorite thing is for people to come feel the trigger, because so many people seem to think it just can't feel good because it's a
Doubters.
bullpup, and it's
Yep.
because they haven't felt a bullpup that has literally $500 in the linkage system.
That's right. They're used to a Tavor or something like that. That just
Exactly, and that's
hammered dog shit.
reliability is obviously important no matter what, and you have great reliability with this, but you're not going to have whereas a Tavor, you know, those things are made to drop out of planes, get sand in them and stuff, and they still function. This is made to not get any sand in it because there are like mitigating factors put into it, and so obviously you want to keep dust and debris out of any like fine precision trigger, but you got two different things you're trying to accomplish with those.
No, absolutely.
So those transfer bars, are they external or are they like? Do you have a cover that covers them to make them internal?
Here, you can see how it's covered up. Yeah.
Oh, it is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is that a?
Go ahead.
Is that a polymer or a printed cover, sort of like what I'm familiar with? I guess is like the AICS skins or whatever, right?
No, everything on the Mark II is milled. So the body and like those side panels. This thing, if he pops out of that view, you can see this is called the main rail.
Sorry, hold on. There we go.
So this is called the main rail. A lot of people also think it must be heavy. They think it looks like bulky. You can see this is where all your linkage and everything functional happens here. Your forend obviously bolts here, and then your ascend bolts right here. You have adjustable link to pull. There's a it actually So I like MDT. I have a great relationship with them. We use their link to pull adjusting hardware through here.
Nice.
So it adjusts just like an MDT. You have a thumb wheel that goes in here. Yeah, MDT, big fans of them. They're awesome.
Shout out to the Van Rutenbergs. Anyway, go on.
Kyle. I know
Kyle. Martin. Yeah.
Hey, Kyle. So anyways, there's your main rail. I don't even know what we were talking about exactly. Oh, is there printed pieces on here?
Yeah.
No, this entire chassis is milled from 6061 aluminum, which would be this, the ascend, the forend, what we call the scope hood, the scope rail. And then you have stainless on all your wear parts, 17.4 stainless. That's for like your trigger, your safety arms, your trigger arms back here. Then you have oiled bronze for your bushings, and then you have a different grade of stainless for your op rods. And that's what comprises the chassis. Now, what's cool, so the Mark II, this was, man, a labor of love starting probably 4 years ago. As soon as they finished the Mark I. A lot of hours in this thing. Let me tell you what. And sorry to keep rambling, but as you talked about printed chassis parts, so the Mark III will incorporate some printing. And since the Mark II came out, I've invested, as I said earlier, heavily in additive. I'm very pleased to say we have like literally the best machine you can get. It's called the MJF 5200. This is kind of the surface finish you get off it. It's like hard to even show it, but it just looks flawless. Essentially, it allows me to do really fine detail like that. So anyways, the Mark III will incorporate a milled backbone along with, I don't want to say skins like an AI because those are somewhat ergonomic but almost purely aesthetic. But printed components that you can easily change from a more traditional hunting oriented and styled rig to, you know, something tactical, you know, LEO military type stuff that the Mark II hits on an aesthetic and ergonomic standpoint.
Cool.
That is really cool. You know what? I've never, when Bullpups kind of first came out, I thought they were a neat idea, but I've never really been attracted to them. This seems well, it's closer to what I think is attractive than past Bullpup designs. I'd be interested to try it. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, are you going to be at SHOT Show?
Nope.
Why not?
No, I'm afraid.
COVID.
COVID, right? Yeah.
You know, it's
and they won't let me out of the country. They love me too much.
Well, that
has nothing to do with my prison terms.
Yeah. So even next January, you can't come.
No.
Oh,
no.
That's
I'm gonna try and make it there, Tyler. So
good. Well,
if restrictions like Yeah.
That's the thing. Who knows what's going to happen with this bullshit? But
Yeah. Well, so we covered the grip, we covered the chassis. What else do you make there?
So we do a ton of printing. This grip is kind of a cool new product. So it's super modular. What is awesome about it? So we have fins coming. This is, I don't know if you need these in Commie Canada or not. This is a snap fit part that makes it a featureless grip is what you'd call it here in the US. But it takes like interchangeable thumb rest. Here you can see palm swells on it. So it's all based off this this original chassis, and then you have all these parts that simply snap fit in. So you got like your rear panel right here. You have your side plates, and I didn't get this rear panel on all the way, but you can hear the satisfying.
Nice audible tactile click.
Yeah, and that is testament to like the awesome tolerances you can hold on here. And so if I had a flathead around here somewhere, the gist of this is, well, since it's not locked in, you can, if I was tough enough, you can, here's my flathead. So you can interchange all these textures by simply popping these panels off. The rear has the largest interface, so you really have to have it lined up. But when you get it, you simply, oh my gosh. I look like an idiot right here.
No, you're good. It shows that you got tight tolerances.
It is tight. This back panel, it's such a large snap. You really gotta get it all in at once. But anyway,
put your back into it.
Well, and I'm a little guy. Your thumb rests right here. So this is like a MPA type clone, I guess I'd call it. There's really no way to change like the aesthetics to do what it ergonomically does. And what it ergonomically does, if I switch around here, is you get your finger, at that perfect angle. And you got an endless amount of like aesthetic variations you can do right here. So they don't all have to be so obtrusive like that. You can have just the thumb rest. So that is a cool new product. We do a lot of OEM work for other manufacturers, so I can't talk about all that stuff, but essentially anything.
Well, why bring it up? God damn it! Dangle that fucking carrot and then back off. What the hell?
Kind of looks cool. Imagine. So you got this mag extension that my Magpul mag's right over there. But what's cool that you can do with 3D printing? I'm trying to get the angle just right, so you can kind of see these vents back in here. Not really there. That's kind of the best. So you have built-in detents. So that is something cool that you could only do with printing. And what that means is you just get to slide that on the mag, and then this detent snaps up, boom, 3 more rounds, which is great, for your precision rifle competitions. We got an endless amount of stuff. You have your anti-static funnels that people really like. When can we get the fatty palm swells? That's this weekend. I told people last weekend, but
you dropped the ball.
Busy, man.
I know.
Freaking busy.
That's good. That's a good thing, man.
It is good. If somebody's on the site, they can look at a lot of stuff. I have really nice scope caps that I wish.
Hey, Scotty's wanting to know about a lefty version for those grips.
Well, he may be in luck this weekend.
Nice.
We have fins, palm swells, lefty grips, new brass markers. Oh, I don't think really nobody has seen this. So what's cool about this, printed, only really like printing nerds will find this cool, but we printed these thumb screw heads. So if I yank on it, so normal socket head cap screw, not that this is that interesting to that many people, but when you're talking about like custom possibilities with manufacturing, you can do custom thumb screws for people. Anyways, what's cool about these brass markers is you can get the bottom right here in 3 different stripes if you want. You can slide your brass back in here and rotate it and stripe the side, or with this very bottom angled one, right? Man, this is hard. I suck at webcam life. You can get the extractor groove. So it marks everywhere that folks would like to mark. And then the neatest thing is your cartridge inserts. Wow. So there's your Magnum bolt face. Just slides in, and you'll see the snap fit happen right here as you snap it in. Boom.
Wow.
It's amazing stuff you can do now with 3D printers.
Unreal. You see that surface finish. You could if you simplified this geometry, you could do this on like, the $300 Amazon printers that folks have, but you wouldn't come near the surface finish. You wouldn't come near the durability. This is nylon 11, by the way, for, I don't know, chemistry nerds.
Well, that was their question from Mike here. What filament material is your go-to for printing? So,
okay, so this I want to make clear. When you see like these surface finishes, this is off my MJF machine, which I'll show you. And we're doing a lot on our MJF machine now, but we still have about 40 FDM printers. I'll show you those as well. And if somebody has detailed printing questions, that is my true specialty. So I'm happy to answer those.
Nerd! No, just kidding.
No, man, dude, you can call me a nerd all you want.
It's all good, man. Look
How
at
to
me,
Win
man.
Friends and Influence People by Sean
exactly.
Hyman.
Right, you guys are agreeable.
Dick.
So what filament do we use? My main manufacturer is a company called 3DX Tech. They make a few custom blends for me. So if somebody was to buy our $19.99 throw levers, those are what's called a nylon 6,66. It's like the devil's nylon. It's super freaking tough. And then our carbon fiber material is that same nylon 666 with, I believe it's 20% chopped carbon fiber added. The FDE is the same, but with FDE colorant. And then we use their ESD PETG for our anti-static stuff.
I was just going to say that.
Mostly. He's the man. He knows. He's done his research. So anyways, all 3DX Tech stuff is pretty much what we run. And their ESD you can buy. Our nylons they make for me. But their general nylon blends are good. And nylon is the shit for end-use parts. It is super tough. It's what a zip tie is made out of. It's what your Magpul PMags are made out of. PMags are a glass fill nylon 6. So anyways, I really dig the science behind that. And
cool.
Hit us up, I guess, if you want printing advice, but we charge $75 an hour for that type of stuff.
And so you should, I think.
Yep, that's right.
That's a very cheap consultative role. That's kind of another aspect of the business is there's something called designing for additive manufacturing. It's just like smart design for 3D printing. And that is a very hot thing right now because a lot of companies are going to printing.
Well, it seems like it's the way of the future, right? Mm-hmm. Like I work in agriculture for an iron manufacturer, and we're starting to look at 3D printing parts like on site at dealer locations, right?
Well, so, and that's cool because that you can not have to stock inventory of certain items, and that's a great aspect of my business. You don't think about it come tax time, but if I have 3,000 throw levers on the shelf, you pay taxes on that. And that's a decent amount of throw levers. But if I'm Magpul and I'm molding my mags, and this is a poor example because there's a certain point at this time that injection molding is going to be cheaper. You're going to do your cost analysis on that. So again, Magpul is a bad example, but we'll stick with it for this. Say when they're injection molding, you have to do vast runs to make up your tooling cost. So they might have 60,000 throw levers on the shelf, and you get taxed on your inventory. And not having a lot of inventory is a strategic business advantage, and that is what's great about printing. But beyond printing, like your actual product, for example, one of my employees, he has a relative that works for John Deere, and they are 3D printing a lot of their sand molds, and that is a lot cheaper than milling the mold before they cast the item. So there's various steps in the process that printing.
So you're putting machinists out of work. God damn it. Making them learn to code.
Hey, what's cool is 3D printers run the same G code as a mill with more variables. Yeah. Really? So a lot of people don't know that. If you're
G99 and looper back again.
Well, if you're coding for a mill, you're stuck 30 years ago because computers do that for you now. But I mean, if you wanna write the code for a 3D printer, you already know how. If you can code a mill.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
See, the more you know, I'm like the reading rainbow. Here, I just finally snapped this in. Now that the focus wasn't all.
There, hold on. There we go.
Cue the cheers.
Oh, I was about to.
Shit. Whoa, easy. Don't get angry.
I was about to stress out earlier, so I had to set it down. But there you can see, you get nice fits on there. And somebody doesn't have to run the side panels, if they wanted it to look, super, super high speed and hollow.
High speed, low drag.
That's right. But, it's neat. Like, you have the same grip chassis here, and you could interchange all these parts. I mean, look at that surface finish. It literally looks better than molded.
That's a hell of a good idea, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and you don't have to run a palm swell on both sides per se, and in fact, I found a lot of people like it, if you don't have that palm swell on your offside. So when we come up with these left-handed grips, do it up how you want, I guess is what I'd say.
Yeah. That thumb shelf is it's starting to I guess ring with me.
It feels
a
good.
Really
and I
good
mean, like,
thing. Yeah.
One thing that's the most obscure type of thought that only people in California or New York or I don't know, there's a few of those little tiny states that don't matter a lot here that also have the same problem. But if you have to have this fin on here, obviously you don't have much grip because you can't actually grip the rifle. This diamond texture is incredibly aggressive. And so if you had a grip on here to have this diamond texture on certain panels, perfect, because you can actually grip your gun again.
Nice. Yeah, that's one thing I've always taught guys. Like there's lots of guys that like the thumb on the outside and all that kind of stuff, and just barely touch your gun. And I'm so much a how do I say this? A field gunner. Like I'm not the bench guy. I'm not the the just barely touch your rifle. Hold the fucking thing. And I tell guys that want to shoot the same kind of games that I do, like the PRS type stuff and practical shooting. Hold the goddamn gun.
Yeah, and there's like, man. So I came from a super competitive shooting background. I originally was real hot and heavy, like on a national level, on the small bore scene. I don't know if they call it the same thing up there, but like really accurate 22s. Are you familiar with what's called 3-position shooting? You do like,
I don't know.
So here in the, maybe it's just because it's like a super nerd sport that everybody's getting out of, or maybe it's because it's an American versus Canadian thing. But what you'd call small bore 3P is you're shooting 50 yards at your X ring is like a 1/4 inch, I think. The 10 ring's a 1/2 inch. You do offhand, and then you have kneeling for small bore, and then prone. Kneeling and prone, you get a sling. That's it. But the other aspect of the game is people, I mean, they have like suits made just for this stuff, because those jackets. I'm sure you're familiar with like the term natural point of aim. Your whole thing when you get in the kneeling or prone is you got this sling and your rifle is just set up for you and it's just sitting there. And then what you got to fight is your heartbeat. And so people are wearing these big old thick jackets, so that way like your cuff where your sling goes around your arm is massive and you don't get your heartbeat there. And then you got a huge pad here. Anyways, I guess moral of the story is like, no matter what your discipline, there's like the proper way to achieve the best results. And for small bore 3P, it's, I don't know, I don't want to call it being a poon, but kind of being a poon. And for for doing your practical type stuff, it's gripping your rifle, because if you don't grip your gun, it's going to fly out when you're running. So anyways, moral of the story is different strokes for different folks, but some strokes suck worse than more.
So how much time do you have left here, Tyler? And do you want to take us through your shop?
We can do that right now, and then we can see where the night takes us, I guess. The shop is messy
into the dark.
We are preparing for a new addition, and I can show that. And then it's also messy just because we make a lot of parts. But it is bringing it up right now. I'll mute the desktop, and you'll see.
There we go. Okay, so let's go like that, and let's wait till he gets there. We go.
Okay, so if we get like a close-up on this bullpup, is YouTube going to get angry?
No, as long as you don't handle it.
Yeah.
You'll have to direct me. I can't see.
Down.
Down. Keep going down. Nice. That is kind of cool.
So this has what I call a bolt extension. It's simply, so this is stainless right here. It clamps on your stock threads and brings your bolt handle forward. Aesthetically, I don't prefer it. Ergonomically, it feels awesome. Here you can see a lever, and what you may not be able to see, hold on, I'm trying to look at the desktop. We fit every little groove on that mag ring.
I see it now.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
So, anyways, that's kind of what's cool about printing is the tolerances you can hit. And, here's a super sneak peek. This is the Rev 5 lever in the works. Literally nobody has seen this. You have interchangeable inserts right here so you can alter your little grip patterns.
Wow.
Cool stuff.
Anyway,
first Focal Plane podcast exclusive right here.
Yeah, literally. Okay, so this is kind of the main assembly room in the shop. A lot of the lights are off, so it doesn't look amazing anyways, but it definitely doesn't look amazing right now. Here's the processing station for what's called the MJF machine. Wow. Here is a big custom FDM machine. So it has a large print envelope. It's water cooled in here and insulated, so you can print some high temp materials like Peak or Ultim if folks are familiar with FDM. You have almost a 4-foot height right there.
Wow.
It's pretty big. I use it for mainly large parts and custom jobs for other folks. This is the build cart for an MJF machine. So I'll show you how this works. Not a lot of people know. Here's a build cart that's cooling. So this print was done earlier today. It was about a 4-hour print, and you can see it still wants about 16 more hours to cool. So this style of printing that I'm going to show you is incredibly fast. I can make about 1,000 throw levers a day on it, or like 200 AR lowers for the folks that get offended by that. But then the cooling time is massive. So I'll show you how this works really quick in case people are getting bored by 3D printing. Then I'll show you kind of how the parts get cleaned up, and then we'll get back to the desktop. So this is an MJF 5200. Not many folks have seen these because they're kind of exceedingly rare. I'll give you the quick rundown on how this works. I can't hear anybody else talking, so if they're telling me to...
No, we're just listening, man. It's all good.
Have to deal with it, I guess. So, powder-based printing. I'll show you some material. Very, very fine powder. If you can see that. Kind of feels like water. That's what the parts are made out of. So, your cart's going to slide into here. Here's another aspect so you can kind of see the machine. Cart slides in here. Here's your cart. Quick and dirty. Every layer, this platform right here, is going to drop 0.003 of an inch. Your material is underneath the platform, and then it gets augured up with a horizontal auger. Man, this is hard while being on webcam. Your material is way down here. It gets augured out here and then brought up by these feeder vanes. Every time this drops down, material replaces where this is. Keep that in mind.
3 thou at a time. That's fucking crazy.
Your platform just dropped 0.003 of an inch. This recoder comes by. It's like a fancy rolling pin that your grandma had. It rolls an incredibly flat layer. Then your print head here, which is just like an inkjet print head.
Wow.
Looks like it's spitting out ink. And you have 2 different types of ink. You have what's called a fusing agent and a detailing agent. Your fusing agent will essentially draw your part. As this comes across, I'm trying to get this where you can see it. Bam! That just drew a layer. And there is, it cleans itself when it comes back this way. So now, this had already passed. It did a layer of powder. This came across, it put fusing agent. It would basically draw, if you imagined a throw lever, it's now flat in here. You're seeing a 0.003 of an inch slice.
That's
your
crazy.
Detailing agent goes on the outside of the part, and that helps the unmelted powder not stick to it. Okay, keep all that in mind. all these heating lamps are paired in different zones. So you may be able to see, if I'm pointing this right, it says 4, here's 10, here's 9, for example. So all these heating lamps can be independently controlled. You have a thermal camera right here that is watching your print zone. And it can say, for example, if I'm printing an AR lower and really offending Mr. Biden right here, this is getting hot because an AR lower is kind of a dense part, a bulky part. But then I have throw levers over here, kind of thin parts, not real thermally massive. So it can alter the heat that it's giving this zone versus this zone. Okay, so now
Wow.
our print head comes back. Bam. And there's another layer. It does 2 layers every 15 seconds, and that's kind of how that works. Everybody probably knows how FDM printing works. It's like a fancy hot glue gun. We just do it on an industrial scale. But that's the MJF machine, and now we'll go back to the desktop since I just took a ton of time and couldn't hear anybody.
No, you were good, man. We were just listening.
He can't hear you.
Yeah, I guess not. That whole setup's got to be cheap.
Holy smokes.
Here, let's get rid of that. There we go, and let's add him back here.
I'm back. I hope that was okay. I tried to make
that was awesome.
Right.
That was incredible, buddy.
How it's made 3D printing style. And I was just saying to Kurt while you were getting set up, that's got to be a cheap setup. That's not expensive at all.
Do you want to know how much that machine costs?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I'd love to.
$500,000.
Holy smokes.
So, as we were talking about earlier, like the name MK Machining, it's not intentionally misleading. We did start out like we were only machining. But and I had a business partner at that time, as I saw the potential of additive, and I hope maybe some of the viewers do it. That machine doesn't really show you the potential, but there's like, matching the mag pull aesthetic for a mag extension and getting that detent built in. I mean, you literally can't do that any other way. So as I saw the potential for that, that's what I decided to head towards. There's already, machine shops that are established. MDT, for example, I bet you they have multiple machines that are, at least $100,000. And to try and compete with somebody that's been doing that for a decade or 4 or 5 decades for big machine shops, hard to do. Whereas the additive side is burgeoning, it's new, there's infinite opportunities there. So yeah, in that room that you saw, there's about $1 million of stuff, and it makes a lot of parts every day, and it has to. But it's, I don't know, it's cool. It's been a fun ride.
I'd say that's and it's cool to see that you're so passionate about it, and I think that's part of the appeal of what you have going on. It's a passion project, and looking, that Bullpup, that's not my jam, but it's cool, man. No, you're innovating,
I like it.
and not many people are doing it, or nobody's doing
it. That's exactly, I guess, how I would describe it to a lot of folks. So people have asked me, like, what's the target market for the Bullpup? And it's like, well, if you ask that, it's probably not you. But, for example, my grandpa, he could afford that thing, but not his jam. As you said, he'd rather have he would rather have a full-out custom engraved bolt gun, real nice wood on it, real nice bluing, and I dig that too. But I also dig stuff like that. That's kind of innovative, and nobody's got quite like that.
But still, it's like it's refreshing to see someone of your caliber and your passion coming out with innovative products that aren't just another 700 pattern or things like that.
Yeah,
it's different, right?
Yeah, and we have people all the time ask, like, when are you going to come out with a normal chassis? And the answer is never. You can get
a lot of people already.
I really like
that.
MDTs. Yeah. You can get an XLR. I really like XLRs and
MPA.
The list goes on and on. There's a chassis for everything you want to do, and the Bullpup, there has never been a chassis. I know XLR was kind of exploring that for a bit, but nobody had figured out the trigger. I'm mixing my words there.
Triggered out the figure. Well,
exactly.
Welcome to First Focal Plane Podcast, where we drink the episodes away.
Man, I wish I had more, sadly. But yeah, what else can I tell you? I got about 10, maybe 15 minutes.
Okay, let's talk about pricing. So the MK2 Bullpup chassis, you have a pre-order of $500. Is that just the deposit, or is that US?
So that's 25% down. Luckily, very few people have not read further, and just like press buy then, because guess what? The linkage and the trigger from Timney cost $500. But it's 2,000 total. It's certainly not cheap, and I won't make any qualms about that. But if you consider a nice Manners stock, which I have a few in the safe, you want their carbon fiber stock with all the bells and whistles. Well, you're talking like $1,500-$1,600 there. And guess what? A custom OEM trigger from Timney is not cheap. We offer a 20 MOA rail with the chassis, and that's essentially what you get. You need a barreled action. That's it.
Wow.
It's not cheap, but it is done right. Sadly, for the Canadian market, you cannot buy it as is. But we're an 07 FFL. I can make you a rifle, and that's kind of one of the next big things for MK Machining is a custom chassis builder on the website. Again, I said I like those Curtis actions. I really do. The 60-degree throw for the Bullpup is great. And the goal is to offer, say you want your chassis Cerakoted FDE in a 24-inch 6.5 SAUM with that Curtis action. We can build that and send that to you in Canada.
Kidding. Okay, so very important question here, and we've been having this discussion on a private chat among some close friends of ours, and we really want to do something special for a buddy. Can you 3D print with a 5/16 24 thread a
Giant dildo?
A dick for a bolt handle?
Dude, I was right. Yes, I can. Now,
there we go. Let's go.
The uncomfortable part is if you want this to be anatomically correct, you're probably going to have to find a buddy with the new iPhone 12 Pro, and you're going to have to get a LiDAR scan of the dong. So
we're not doing that. Well, it's just totally up to your imagination.
We'll leave that to Luke.
I don't know. I mean, I think the anatomically correct veins are going to add the grip that is
the texture that you're looking for.
Yeah, and maybe if you have some of the warts and everything.
We're losing viewers as we talk.
Right. Yes, whatever your heart desires. And so kind of the three-headed spear that is MK Machining and is soon to break off into another company. So we have the Bullpup. We have our own printed items, and then the third, which will become another company, and I'll explain in a second, is making parts for others. What is sad, so as I said earlier, I keep going the wrong way. This webcam life is crazy. The black, white, and gold Bullpup back there, that's, I wish I could touch it and get it closer. That's my college's colors. What sucks is my college is now scared to work with MK Machining because guess what? We make guns, and that is scary.
The world is going to explode.
Forget the fact that we have some top-in-the-world additive capabilities, and that could aid their hospital, their prosthetics department, etc. They don't want to work with us because we make gun stuff. So this third company, or second company, third head of the trident of MK Machining will break off, and that will be called Additive Manufacturing Missouri. That way, when somebody writes us a PO, they have to write ammo. And then we will make parts for whoever. It doesn't have to be gun parts, but it'll just be making parts. So that's kind of the three parts of MK Machining.
Wow. Well,
it's cool. Man, you got a lot of stuff on the go.
Yeah, you're a busy guy. Holy mackerel.
Hey, you're oh damn it, that chronograph mounting system that you have there.
Yes, the Magneto mount.
The Magneto speed mount. Jeez. That's a hell of a good idea. We have a buddy that was trying to come up with something, and I mean, he did a great job for what was available without actually doing any machining. But that I think is fantastic.
It is. So, if anybody is curious on lab radar versus magneto speed, which we talked a little bit about this before the show, both good products, both give you great data. Lab radar, if it's just you, sometimes other guns can interfere with it. So lab radar, I suggest if it's just you, and if you are shooting at the same thing every time. So maybe you're an F-class guy, maybe you're a bench rest guy, maybe you like to shoot your gun off a bench, but not actually shoot bench rest. That's where it's great for you. Magneto speed, everything else, as long as your barrel is parallel to your mounting surface. So what that would mean is like a flat bottom on your forend, or a way to mount on the side, so that way your bayonet is in line with your barrel. So our Magneto mount will clamp to an Arca rail, which is built into our Bullpup chassis forend that you can see there, or you can mount it on a pick rail. So if you don't, there you go. So you see just the Magneto speed there. If he brings up a picture of the Magneto mount, boy, that would be great. But
hold on,
putting them
only so good
right there.
Yeah.
If he goes to our site while I'm talking, he could do that.
I'm on it.
I
But
don't have young Jamie here, so you gotta be patient.
Fat Sean is on it. Hold on.
So the Magneto mount, a bit of short description, and I guess before that, we'll preface it a bit. Everybody is familiar, if you're in the competitive small bore world, or you're just getting into the fancy small bore stuff. A tuner is a thing, and that's just starting to become a center fire thing, which I've got a cool product coming out, which folks will like. But a tuner, for those not in the know, I don't even know if anybody's not in the know. It's just a weight that goes on the end of your barrel, and you move it up and down, and that changes the harmonics. It's pretty simple. I think anybody can grasp that concept.
Yep.
It is crazy to me that people will strap the Magneto speed bayonet to the end of their barrel much heavier than a little collar that you are moving hundredths of an inch in some cases for your tuner, and it works, right? That's why the small bore world does it, because you can't reload for 22. It works. So when you strap this bayonet to the end of the barrel, guess what? It impacts your harmonics, and some people swear up and down it does not. It does. It does. I promise. So Magneto mount gets it off the barrel. That's the end of the story. So you just get to shoot. You shoot, you get your data. That's the end of the story, right? That's as simple as it gets.
Nice,
man.
Hey, I have a question about your scope or your rail levels.
Yes.
Now there's a couple of companies out there going with a dry level with just a bead in it. Have you thought about that, or are you just going to continue with the
Are you sure they are going with a dry level, or are they going with a ceramic ball level like the Accuracy First, which is still suspended in liquid?
It's just what? Sorry?
It's still suspended in liquid like an Accuracy First.
Wait a second. Is mine dry or liquid? Sorry, mine's in liquid.
Okay, because you're about to blow my mind. I'm glad you asked that question. So the claim to fame with an Accuracy First is it's accurate to less than a degree. I could get out my digital level reader.
If you could hold your damn rifle there.
Well, okay. So you see this is very sensitive to less than a degree. In fact, I have measured it, and if people crept back on our social media far enough, from this edge right here to that edge right there is about a quarter of a degree. I mean, as you can see on the screen, it's almost nothing. So, moral of the story, that Accuracy First claim to fame is that it's accurate to a degree. This level vial, and I'm proud to say, and also offer explanation, this is the only item I sourced from China. And the reason is I tried every U.S. made bubble level vial, whatever you want to call it, Not only were they about at the cheapest, about 60 cents, they were maybe a quarter this accurate. So this level, you can get movement I don't know, maybe a quarter of a degree, and within a half a degree, you see like a big discrepancy. This is, I don't know exactly what percent alcohol in here, but it's a very high proof alcohol. And what that means is like you could sit this out when it was negative 15 here, which I know for you guys isn't cold, but
I was just going to say
negative 15 Fahrenheit. So it got to that.
You need to send some up to Canada here for us to winter test.
I'm glad to do that. Go Big Tactical is also our Canadian reseller.
There you go, folks. Nice.
Yeah, they're good. He's a good guy. Anyways, whole moral of this story, this vial is more accurate than a lot of the much larger honkin' vials. And I have no intentions of going to a ceramic ball vial because it's much more expensive. And guess what? If it costs me $5 for a vial, it's going to cost you 15 because there's got to be dealer margins in there. And what that allows me to do is have this very small level assembly, which I wish I could grab a rifle back there. That was kind of my whole plan until I heard we couldn't touch rifles on this show.
That's YouTube people.
It's not just the show.
Yeah,
we don't make the rules.
So this sticks out less than, not to call Vortex out because I have a good relationship.
That's pretty
with them.
compact. Absolutely.
Yeah, if you had like the Vortex ultra low profile level, well, the only thing ultra low profile is the band is very thin and weak. The actual like interface to mount it isn't low profile. So with this level, you take out this bolt right here, and if you just flex this thing open, you need just over 1/8 of an inch to install it without taking anything apart, and not without taking your rifle off your optic. Or you can, so this is a 2-piece assembly. You can kind of see the seam right there. You can just slide those pieces off, and then literally all you need is 1/8 of an inch between your scope and barrel. I'm sorry, your scope and rail to install it without removing your optic. It's by far the lowest profile in terms of getting it on your optic without removal necessary.
That's awesome, man. I'm interested. I know Shane at EM Precision Rifles uses your levels on a lot of his rifles.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. They don't take up a lot of tube space, which most modern levels don't. Like if you were to talk like 2010 levels, they'd be much beefier that way and take up a lot of tube space. But a lot of scopes have also become more compact. I think like, so when I worked at GA Precision, the HDMR, when that came out, that was the first like short compact rifle. It was like that 3.5 to 21. It was badass. It tracked like a champ. The glass was okay. I don't even want to say okay. The glass was pretty good. It wasn't like zero compromise level, but nothing was back then.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the shit. You could, so if you just search GA Precision, that's me demoing all their rifles. I'm no like PRS king, but if you got me prone, I am confident I'll keep up with you.
I don't know that I'd like to see any man prone, but yeah, I'm with you. I got you.
Depends if you're looking from the side or the back.
I'm following.
Yeah. Another cool thing about this small level vial, if you were to compare it to other level vials, they're much larger in diameter and width. So this allows me to have a completely protected level vial right there. Like nothing can hit that thing. It's open from above, and that gives you good lighting on it, as you can probably see. And then you start it up with that pin. I don't know. It's not like it's a revolutionary type thing, but sorta, I guess. I mean, it's like a good design that is a significantly lower price than, say, that Accuracy First that you had on there.
Like what? Let's have it.
$60 is the normal price. We have competitive dealer margins, and that is, I don't know if we might be
shopping cart.
We might be taking the podcast in like a crazy direction. But if anybody is watching this and like thinking from a business standpoint, they're like, man, that can't cost you $60 to make. Well, of course it doesn't.
No shit.
Of course it doesn't. But folks don't always understand like the design time. That's quite valuable. Your fixture fee when you're machining something, which is excellent with additive manufacturing. You don't have fixtures. That costs a lot. And then the very last thing, you got dealers that want to stock your stuff, or hopefully so.
sure.
They got to have margins in there. And then it's something I didn't even consider as recent as 2 years ago. Well, when you got a lot of dealers that want to stock your stuff, then you start hearing from distributors that want to stock your stuff to sell it to dealers to then sell it to you. And it's, I don't know, just a part of the beast that you have to consider. It's either you can try and be direct to consumer forever, which is great, and you can offer the best prices, but you hit a cap, and that cap is how do you reach those customers? And I guess like a good example of that, and we're probably like boring so many people right here, but when MK Machining started, 4 years ago, we had a few thousand followers on Facebook, and you get a few hundred likes per post, and that was incredibly gratifying to see, like a 10% interaction rate. Well, guess what? Some posts now have 2 or 3 likes, and that's because they just don't allow your stuff to be shown. So that gets back to the aspect of how do you directly reach the consumer? You can't as a business, and that's where you have to have dealers and distributors.
Well, and all business has to be scalable too, right? So you gotta do what you gotta do, buddy. Nobody's gonna judge.
Oh yeah, or my favorite thing is when you are someone like the highest tier in the world, additive manufacturing, and somebody's like, well, my buddy's got this Ender 3, and it's 5 cents of PLA plastic to print a rollover. And those might have been some like buzzwords that you only know if you're printing, but essentially the material cost is like almost nothing in any form of manufacturing. You're talking this aluminum level, the material might be $2, $3. That's not where your cost is. It's the material and anything. Your car, guess what you could scrap it for? Not much.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. All right, on, man. We've
one last thing before, if you have to go, I know you talked about 45 minutes or something like that.
I'll give you the 20 questions, or as long as you want, and then I gotta run after that because unfortunately we do have daylight savings here, which I found out.
Okay, I want to hear a little bit about your reloading trays, those acrylic reloading trays. Like,
yeah,
I'm certain you must just buy the acrylic and machine them. Those are very nice.
Yeah, they are very nice. So originally those started as aluminum tops as well. And everything was getting machined. I started going to acrylic tops. Number one, for cost. Again, the material's not much of the cost, and you can go on eBay right now. You could find a billet tray for like $30, and guess what? That guy is not making much, and he's also not going to dealers. But when you have a two-piece design, that's magnified. So what I found awesome about the two-piece design, and it was kind of like the Magneto speed thing, where I'm like, man, strapping this thing to the barrel sucks for 5 years. Then I'm like, wait, I could make something. I was always thinking, man, putting this brass in this tray sucks because I got powder stuck in there. So this open-sided design that you see on the screen, you can't get any powder stuck in there. Your cases can't possibly fall over. They're a precision fit to each cartridge. It's a modular design. And so it's nice in the aspect of all you got to buy is different tops. And then our current ones right now, we've been waffling back and forth between steel and aluminum base plates for a different amount of heft on the bottom. And these newest ones that are made out of steel, they're really beefy. Like you ain't going to accidentally bump that thing. But it's just nice. You got that open-sided design and nobody else is doing something like that. And you can order different size tops and simply screw them on. It pairs really nicely with our funnel setup, which is another thing that I don't know why people that are injection molding thousands of funnels like RCBS, they could put an anti-static additive in there when they're injection molding, and they don't. And the consequence of that is you get a shit ton of static, especially if you're in a dry climate like Missouri, for example. When it's hot in the summer and you have your AC on, it's dry and it's staticky. So we print these funnels from an anti-static polymer, and it's super anti-static, and it works really well at probably a third of the cost of something that's machined from aluminum, which is nice. And as anybody knows, I like machining stuff. It's cool to machine stuff.
It is.
But there is a good method of manufacture for various items. And so what he was showing there was an FDM print. The funnel soon will be transitioning to this, which is made on the MJF machine and then finished with essentially an anti-static Cerakote.
Brilliant. When are you going to start making powdered tubes or whatever?
Like a drop tube?
Drop tube. Well, not drop tubes, but powder thrower tubes is what I'm talking about. Like,
well, so that's what we call our Charge Master overserts, and that's one of my most popular items. So, as of about 2 years ago, is the answer to your question.
No.
And those, they work so good. They're super simple. I mean, sometimes you get the troll on Facebook that's like, well, I just put a McDonald's straw in there and it works great.
Yep.
You can, but like, congratulations. You just like ghetto-fied a $400 electronic, like if that's your end goal, why do you even have a Charge Master?
$600 in Canada.
Oh, man. Well, and another segue into that is some people ask me like, oh, should I get a Charge Master Lite or a Charge Master or a Match Master? My opinion is you could get 3 Charge Master Lights, have these little overserts on there. You're going to have your powder throws to within 1/10 of a grain, and you can't keep up with 3 of those things, I promise. And I don't know what advantage you get from your normal Charge Master, which there's one, like, you can kind of see its little number pad right here. Guess what? It's gathering dust because I don't use it that much anymore. I just throw them manually. And I would bet that most people can't shoot that like maybe 1/5 of a grain difference that you get with a manual throw.
I'm still going to Jens's place to load for the 33XC over there with his FX 120i or whatever the hell it is.
Oh man, and there's some aspects. I wish I had a piece of brass right here. Well, this is a 375 WSM. I really like oddball stuff. So that's I call it 375 MIZ, which is kind of like an homage to my alma mater. But that's a 325 WSM opened up to 375. That shoots 250 Hornadies, so like 2850 out of a 16-inch barrel. And then your 33XC was making me think I have a 338 Lapua improved. And I think that is one of the best cases to improve. Because you kind of got a lot of case taper and a kind of a shallow shoulder. It's very similar and reminiscent of like a 22-250, but much larger. And when you improve that and you get that 40-degree shoulder, you keep all that pressure in the neck coming off that 40-degree shoulder rather than hitting your throat. And so on my Lapua improved, I shoot 300 grain burgers at like 30-50 feet a second, 100 grains of Rotumbo. I have 3,500 rounds through my barrel, still quarter minute, and it has some throat erosion, obviously, but
of course,
I'm getting more barrel life than a standard Lapua with an extra 300 feet a second because of smart case design and a long throat. Like, it's not going to be mag fed, but anyways, I like
that's exceptional at 3,040.
Yeah, I really like long range shooting. That is my passion. That and like internal ballistics. And I don't know, that's kind of like what based me to say most people, I'm going to guess, can't shoot that difference in between loading with your Sartorius or your FX versus a hand dropped powder throw. Like, there's a lot of variables that you have to minimize to even be able to realize a minuscule change in powder.
Listen, I've for years now have used the old Hornady powder thrower and the Hornady beam scale, and I've had loads. I mean, with the 6.5x47, which is ridiculously easy to load for, down to an extreme spread of 4 feet per second. I think it works okay.
Well,
I wish I had an auto thrower, honestly.
Yeah.
But I can't argue with the results.
There's nothing wrong with an auto thrower, and assuming it has a nice strain gauge in there, you're going to get accurate measurements. But your beam scale is going to be at least as accurate. It's going to be as accurate as you are. It's going to be like a big boy stepping on a a standard analog scale, he might be like, oh, I think it's tipping at like 250, or it might be 230. It's as accurate as you are. You got to slide that thing up and down. And anyways, there's nothing wrong with manual reloading, I guess you'd call
I don't think so. I prefer most things manual. Wait, did I say that out loud? Shit.
All right, what
Damn
else?
it.
What else? And then I gotta go. I'll give you like one or two more questions.
I don't know. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, you did the gamut. Thanks for coming on, man. You've given
No
us the
problem.
rundown. It's awesome.
Let's do it again sometime.
For sure.
And now knowing I can't handle guns, we can prepare some way to show the bullpup trigger. I don't know how. Some way.
Drawings.
Yeah.
So we okay. Yeah, we can definitely do something like that. Like that's and seeing it on camera doesn't truly do it justice, but it does it more than me saying it has a good trigger. Anybody can say that. You can say, my Tavor has a 4-ounce trigger. Trust me, I promise.
Right. Yes.
But and anything the viewers want to see, I am transparent. I like to be transparent. I don't know. I think that's the way things get done, is being like a genuine human being.
You bet. Well, cool. Well, thanks, buddy. We'll put it out there and we'll have you on again. This is really informative. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. I'm sure we can work out some kind of discount code for your viewers.
Ooh, there it is.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you'll have to announce that at a later date. We'll have to discuss exactly what you want that to be. But email me and we'll go from there.
Will do. Okay.
Awesome.
Hey, thanks, guys. It's like 3 hours past dinner time here, but not quite. They're only 2 hours there.
What the hell else were you going to do with your free time, man?
I don't know.
Honestly.
All right.
Give us that crap.
See you guys. Hope you
buddy.
enjoyed it. Bye.
See you, Tyler.
Later.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, buddy. Wow.
There's a lot there.
Yeah, definitely. He took us through the whole works though, and it's quite impressive what he does, and
that's
and
it's not everybody who will go into his shop and reveal, like, go into detail about what his machines do and all that kind of stuff, right?
Definitely.
So that was.
But like I said, and it's good. It's refreshing to see somebody who's not doing just another chassis or another 700 or.
Well, and he realizes that there are people out there doing good things with chassis, so let's concentrate on other things.
Yeah, and what he likes. It's his company. Like, go for it, right?
Yeah.
So
that's it's kind of interesting, and like when he started talking about what did he say? Addition or additive manufacturing, right? And like, I was a machinist for years, and I loved that shit. And yes, I recognize that there's a lot of waste and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? Back when I was doing it, I think I ended my machining career in 2007. Before I grew up and did better, more money earning things for my family. That's the only thing we knew. And you make cool stuff out of big parts, raw parts. And that's just the way it was. And their 3D printing was not even thought of.
It was a fever dream back then. Right?
That's right. So it's kind of neat to see that, although it's a different take on the same sort of process.
Yeah.
And it's in a way, it's kind of sad to see part of that die, because it is an art, and just the same as the additive machining or additive manufacturing is itself an art, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But my old brain's too petrified to get into that shit.
Well, yeah, no, and we'll definitely have to have them on. And I'm curious to see how those op rods, if they wear down over time.
You know what? I would love to, like I was saying earlier, I've never been a big fan of the Bullpup design. I thought they were kind of neat, and I've always thought they have their application, but not in my shop.
Yeah.
And
well, we got to play with Miles's Desert Tech a little bit.
That's right.
When he was there, and It's cool. It's, I don't know, the manual of arms kind of throws me off, right? You know, having to reach back here instead of right there. It's just
yeah, it's kind of fucky, and especially like with my screwed up shoulders, it's tough to get that just right.
Yeah.
However, with that Curtis custom action, that 60-degree bolt throw, I could see that being quite a bit easier. And
True.
with a guy with the size of biceps that I have, you know, it's going to be tough anyway. No, nothing.
Nothing. Not funny.
Okay.
All the
Screw
science
you, man.
took the humor out of it. I'm just kidding. Anyway.
But no, I think he has some good ideas there, and the application. I'd like to see that thing operate, especially beside the Desert Tech.
Yep.
To see how it does that way, and put the two head to head, and see what we think of each. And like he says, you can put a 700 footprint, like
that's right,
whatever 700 rifle in there.
You're just stuck with a Timney trigger. So,
is that what it was?
Yeah, it could be worse, but
okay.
Whatever.
Well, there's the Timmy Calvin Elite.
Yep.
One of these fellers right here. Ooh.
Yep.
And that's not a bad trigger at all.
No, they're good trigger. Like, yeah,
absolutely. Beautiful.
Dan on the YouTube says throw a KDEX 50-degree action in there, and you might be cooking with gas.
Okay.
Anyway, we're right on.
I imagine you could put it in there.
Well, it's a 700 pattern, and I don't see why not.
Yeah, exactly. But 50 degrees, 60 degrees, come see, come
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Awesome.
So, do you have any shout-outs this week?
You know what? I do. You know what? I sent my 33XC, that big honking rifle. I should have sent you a picture to put up on the screen here. But I put the barreled action, the Curtis action with the barrel that we put on that thing next to my 308, the old Reds dog in the AICS chassis.
I think we got that somewhere here. Hold on. Anyway.
Right. And they're equally as long. Like the Curtis action with that barrel that we put on that 33XC without the stock is as long as my 308.
Here, I'll just go like this.
With a stock.
Oh, where is it?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, that's right. It's crazy.
Look at that, hey?
And that thing is thick as my forearm.
It's the baby arm.
Exactly. So I just sent it out to Rifles Refined in Ontario, and he's going to do up the stock for me. He's looking at about, an early July return time. So shout out to Owen at Owen's Refined, at Rifles Refined. And also we heard from Doug at March Scopes Canada today that the Genesis is in for my King of 2 Miles rifle. There it is. And also your scope, Sean.
Yep.
What model is it?
5 to 42. I can't remember the exact details, but
right. But it's going to be a couple of weeks, I think he said, from now. But it's definitely coming. So, Doug and Owen.
There you go.
Shout-outs. Yeah.
Right on.
Oh, yeah. I guess we already did Steve and Shane, our trip, and Jens for transporting us out to Edmonton last weekend? No, it was the weekend before.
No, the weekend before that, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I was down south working last week. So, we got 2 33XCs built on the Thursday. Went out shooting with Ben Click on Friday. Got super humbled. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great to suck.
Yeah.
I excel at it. Yeah, Doug chimed in here. Says, thanks.
He's watching.
No problem, Doug. God, man, we're indebted to you. Thank
yep,
you very
definitely.
much.
Definitely. Right on.
Betcha.
Well, I just got a quick one. Gordo at Extreme Range Outfitters hooked me up with a Rigger PC carbine. So
Excellent.
yeah, I'd show you, but I can't handle it. So
Did you get that Saturday when you came up? You must have.
Yep.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, Gordy's a pretty damn good guy.
gave me a smoking deal on it too. So
Nice.
he's a good
Awesome.
dude. So right on. So
Okay.
Kurt, you got a little bit of a change up we got one more ad read for you guys.
Oh, that's right too. Let me get that queued up here if I can get my. Okay, recognize my face, please. There we go. Do. All right. So, a buddy of mine has a company called Steam Smart. And for all the power engineers out there thinking of working on their next Steam ticket, Steam Smart is here to help. Their short courses are available live and online with a first-class instructor willing to answer any questions you might have. If school was several years ago and you feel behind in math and don't know where to start, don't worry. The courses are designed around this. So if you're just starting your study program or want to polish your skills just prior to writing, Steam Smart is a great way to do it. Check them out at www.steamsmart.ca. Great company. They'll help you get through your classes or refreshers if
You bet.
you so choose.
You bet.
Check them out. Let us know how you do if you visit them.
Tell them we sent you.
You betcha.
All right.
FirstFocalPlane.ca.
Well, guys, before we go, as always, check us out on Facebook.com/FirstFocalPlane Podcast or FFP Podcast. Leave a review, or wherever you're listening, leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. We had a few come in. I don't have them queued up because, amateur hour.
Listen, we've been busy, man. Like
Yeah.
with you with seeding, you being in the ag industry, like it's go time right now.
It is.
Guys are out there
That's right.
flying.
Yeah.
And me the same way with
dirt.
road work and dirt work, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody wants everything done May 1st.
Yeah. Well, and Chris couldn't join us tonight. He had something going on, but he's got a review teed up for a new rifle that he got.
He does.
And little something happened. So stay tuned because we'll see how it goes. We're not going to give any details right now, but let's just say,
teaser.
it'll be a bombshell. So we'll leave it at that. So, also a big shout out to John Johnston for the kick-ass music. If you guys are playing musical instruments, if you play bass, if you play guitar, he can build you a custom guitar for cheap. So hit him up, JohnsonCustomGuitars.com. He's in West Virginia, but he'll ship to Canada, and it's no problem. He'll hook you up. Tell him we sent you, and he'll give you 10% off the already low price. So, yeah.
There's no ITAR in for guitars.
for guitars. Yeah, exactly. Cool. I think that's all I got. So thanks, guy.
Perfect. Thanks everybody for joining. Glad to have you here as always.
Yep, and we will see you next week, hopefully with the trifecta. So, peace out.
Trifecta of what?
Mr. Christopher.
Oh, true. I see.
Yeah, the three-headed
I'm with
monster.
you. I'm a good guy. Really good guy. I'm not all that smart, but I'm a really good guy.
It's a good thing you're good looking. So.
I'm lovable.
Yes. Okay,
All right,
guys.
buddy.
Have a good week. Stay safe. See you next time.